rights lawyer and activist. She's also the former commissioner of Sri Lanka's Human Rights Commission. It's a pleasure to speak to you today. Now, Sajith Premadasa has withdrawn, and much of the public doesn't have much hope in Wickremesinghe to repair the damage that's been done to the country. Which contender do you think best fits the role of president for today's Sri Lanka?
At the moment, I would say that, none of them fit the role because also the two candidates, that is Ranil Wickremesinghe, as you rightly said, is backed by the former president's party, which is SLPP, but also Dullas, Alahapperuma, the former minister, is also someone who is part of the former president's party, the SLPP. So in a sense, if either of them become president, we can expect the Rajapaksas to be in the background and for it to be a proxy government. Now, the opposition leader, Sajith Premadasa, withdrew from the race because he's entered an agreement with Dullas Alahapperuma, and if Alahapperuma wins, then Sajith Premadasa will be made prime minister. But the fact is, with the Rajapaksas behind the scenes and influencing Dullas Alahapperuma, how effectively or freely will Sajith Premadasa be able to function as prime minister? Right. So therefore, I think we must look at this. This is not the ideal situation. It is not even the best of a worst case scenario. So we should look at this as a very interim solution. And what the people need to do is push for elections as soon as possible, general elections, because the public have lost faith.
Right. What about Anura Dissanayake? Do you think that the Rajapaksas would have that effect on that candidate as well?
Well, the thing about Anura Kumara Dissanayake is that in Parliament, he does not have the number of votes to win. So he's not going to win the votes. Ideally, I would say that also as you said, his popularity has grown amongst the public, but we do not know how he will also fare at the elections. And at the end of the day, even his party has very problematic stance on certain issues, such as related to the minorities, the war crimes, etc. Therefore, none of these people are ideal candidates.
Right, and the situation in Sri Lanka has had a major impact on the people there. I mean, they've been protesting for months on end, which has shown the world just how powerful and effective these demonstrations have been.
Yes, and the unique thing about these protests is that they did not start, were not started by a political party or trade unions, although political parties and trade unions became part of it. They were also organic. They started off in certain neighborhoods. At the same time, there have been also other ongoing protests, like in the north and the east, that have not received as much visibility, like the protests of the families of the disappeared, which have been ongoing for more than 2,000 days. 2,000 days, and which were also against the Rajapaksas. So in a sense, the protests have always existed, or they've existed for a long time, but these particular protests concentrated in the south by the Sinhalese people and by the people who voted for the Rajapaksas did have an impact in ousting them from power.
All right, Ambika Satkunanathan, thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour. It's a pleasure speaking to you.